The final school bell rang loudly across the building. Students rushed out of classrooms, filling the hallway with noise and movement. Bags swung over shoulders. Friends laughed and talked about small things like homework, sports, and plans for the weekend. Among them walked a quiet girl named Mia. She kept her head up, but her eyes stayed calm and careful. Mia was 14 years old. She was not loud. She was not shy either. She simply learned to stay observant. Life had taught her that silence often protected her better than words. Outside the school gate, a police car was parked. The bright blue lights were off, but the presence of the car still drew attention. A tall police officer stood beside it. His uniform was clean and pressed. His name badge read Officer Reed. Officer Reed enjoyed being noticed. He spoke loudly and laughed often. Some students slowed down near the gate just to watch him. Authority impressed them. Mia walked toward the gate without stopping. As she passed, a boy from her class pointed at her and whispered something to his friends. Officer Reed noticed the gesture and turned. "What is going on here?" Officer Reed asked with a smile that looked friendly but felt sharp. The boy shrugged. "Nothing, sir. Just joking." Officer Reed looked at Mia. "Joking about what?" Mia stopped walking. She did not like being spoken about as if she was not there. "About my family," she said calmly. Officer Reed raised an eyebrow. "Your family?" "Yes," Mia replied. "My mom." The officer chuckled. "And what about your mom?" Mia took a breath. She had heard the jokes before. She had learned not to flinch. "She works in special forces," Mia said. For a second, the area went quiet. Then Officer Reed burst out laughing. "Special forces," he repeated. "That is a good one." Some students laughed along with him. Others looked uncomfortable and stayed silent. Officer Reed bent slightly, placing his hands on his knees as he laughed. "That is the best story I have heard all week." Mia stood still. Her face stayed neutral, but her hands tightened around the straps of her backpack. "My mom protects people," Mia said firmly. "She risks her life for others." Officer Reed waved his hand dismissively. "Listen, kid. People like to imagine big things about their parents. It is normal." Mia looked straight at him. "It is not imagination." Officer Reed smiled again, but this time it was colder. "Sure it is." Mia did not argue further. She had learned that some people only listened to what they already believed. She turned and walked away. Behind her, the laughter slowly faded. The walk home felt longer than usual. The street was quiet. Houses stood close together, some old, some newly painted. Mia reached her home and stepped inside. The house was simple but clean. Everything had its place. Mia placed her backpack on the chair and sat at the table. On the wall across from her hung a framed photograph. It showed her mother, Rosa, standing beside several women and men. They wore plain clothes, but their posture was firm. Their eyes showed focus and strength. Mia stared at the photo. "They laughed again," she whispered. The front door opened. Rosa stepped inside. She was in her late 30s. Her movements were calm and controlled. Even in casual clothes, she carried herself with confidence. "Mia," Rosa said gently. "How was school?" Mia hesitated, then answered honestly. "Someone laughed at you." Rosa set her bag down and sat across from her daughter. "People laugh when they do not understand," she said calmly. "It was a police officer," Mia added. Rosa paused for a brief moment. "Did he say why?" "He did not believe me," Mia said. "He laughed when I told him what you do." Rosa smiled softly. "That happens." Mia frowned. "It should not." "No," Rosa agreed. "It should not." Rosa reached across the table and placed her hand over Mia's. "You handled it well." Mia looked up. "How do you know?" "You did not shout," Rosa said. You did not cry. You stayed strong. Mia nodded slowly. Rosa stood up. Tomorrow, she said, I need to visit your school. Mia looked surprised. Why? There is a meeting with the principal, Rosa replied calmly. Routine matters. Mia studied her mother's face. There was something different in her tone. Something quiet but firm. The next morning, Mia arrived at school earlier than usual. The hallways were still calm. She went to her locker and took out her books. During first class, she struggled to focus. Her mind kept returning to the gate, the laughter, and her mother's words. At lunchtime, whispers followed her again. That is the girl with the special forces, Mom, someone said sarcastically. Mia ignored them and sat alone at a table. After lunch, the principal's voice came over the speaker. Officer Reed, please report to the main office. Officer Reed was standing near the gate again. His smile faded slightly when he heard his name. He straightened his uniform and walked toward the office. Inside the principal's office, Rosa sat calmly in a chair. Her posture was straight. Her hands rested calmly on her lap. Officer Reed stepped inside and stopped. The room felt suddenly smaller. Rosa looked up. Good afternoon, she said. Officer Reed felt something shift inside him. He could not explain why. The principal cleared his throat. Officer Reed, this is Ms. Rosa. Officer Reed nodded politely. Nice to meet you. Rosa stood up slowly. Nice to meet you too, she replied. She reached into her bag and placed a folder on the desk. Inside were documents. Official papers. Identification cards. The principal opened the folder and looked closely. Officer Reed leaned forward slightly. His smile disappeared. The color slowly drained from his face. The room stayed silent. The principal looked down at the papers on his desk again. His eyes moved slowly, carefully. He adjusted his glasses and cleared his throat. Officer Reed stood stiff near the door. His earlier confidence had vanished. His hands rested at his sides, but his fingers were tense. Rosa stood calmly. She did not raise her voice. She did not rush. She simply waited. These documents are verified, the principal said finally. Ms. Rosa, thank you for coming. Officer Reed swallowed. He glanced at the folder again. The identification card showed Rosa's name, her role, and official markings that could not be ignored. Rosa turned toward him. Her eyes were calm but firm. You laughed at my daughter yesterday, she said. Officer Reed opened his mouth, then closed it. He shifted his weight. I did not mean any harm, he said quickly. Kids joke. I thought it was harmless. It was not, Rosa replied. Authority carries weight. Words spoken from a uniform can leave marks. The principal nodded. This school takes respect seriously. Officer Reed looked down. I apologize, he said quietly. Rosa nodded once. Apologies matter when they are followed by understanding. The principal stood. There will be a meeting this afternoon. Students, staff, and officers present. Officer Reed's eyes widened slightly. A meeting? Yes, the principal replied. This is an opportunity to set things right. Later that day, students gathered in the assembly hall. Rows of chairs filled quickly. Teachers stood near the walls. Officers sat in uniform at the front. Mia sat near the middle. Her hands rested on her lap. She felt nervous, but she did not look away. The principal walked to the podium. Today is about respect, he said. And truth. Rosa stood beside him. She wore simple clothes, but her posture was steady. Officer Reed sat a few seats away. He avoided looking at Mia. My name is Rosa, she began. I am a parent, and I serve my country in special operations. A quiet murmur moved through the room. I do not speak often about my work, Rosa continued. Not because I am ashamed, but because it is not for praise. She paused and looked around. Yesterday, my daughter was laughed at when she spoke the truth. Mia felt her chest tighten. She kept her eyes forward. Strength does not always look loud, Rosa said. Sometimes it looks like a young girl walking away with dignity. The room was silent. Rosa turned slightly toward Officer Reed. We all wear roles. Teacher, officer, parent, student. What matters is how we carry them. Officer Reed stood slowly. His face was serious now. I was wrong, he said clearly. I failed to listen. Some students shifted in their seats. I apologize to Mia, he continued, and to anyone who felt unseen. Mia looked up. Their eyes met briefly. He nodded respectfully. After the assembly, whispers followed Mia again, but they were different now. That is her mom, someone said with awe. Mia walked down the hallway with a calm expression. She did not smile. She did not boast. That evening at home, Rosa sat with Mia at the table. You did nothing wrong, Rosa said. I know, Mia replied quietly. Good, Rosa said. Never doubt that. Outside, the sun began to set. The day had changed something. Not just in the school, but in the people who witnessed it. And the lesson was not over yet. The school felt different the next morning. The hallways were still loud, but the tone had changed. Students who once whispered now spoke more carefully. Teachers watched more closely. Respect had found a place where it had been missing. Mia walked through the entrance with steady steps. She carried her books close to her chest, just like always. But inside, something had shifted. She did not feel smaller anymore. She felt seen. As she passed the main office, she noticed Officer Reed standing near the desk. He was not laughing today. He stood straight, speaking quietly with the secretary. When he saw Mia, he stopped. Mia, he said. She paused. I wanted to say something, Officer Reed continued. Not as an officer. As a person. Mia waited. I should have listened, he said. You deserved that. Mia nodded once. Thank you. That was all. She walked away. In class, her teacher asked the students to write about role models. Many students struggled. Mia picked up her pen without hesitation. She wrote about strength that stayed calm under pressure. About courage that did not need applause. About a mother who protected people she would never meet. When the teacher later read her work, the room was silent. That took bravery, the teacher said. Mia shrugged gently. It was just the truth. After school, Rosa arrived early. She waited near the gate, watching students leave. Some parents recognized her now. They nodded politely. A few smiled. Officer Reed approached her slowly. Ms. Rosa, he said respectfully. I wanted to thank you. For what? Rosa asked. For showing me where I failed, he replied. And for doing it with dignity. Rosa nodded. Growth comes from listening. Officer Reed looked thoughtful. Your daughter carries strength well. She learned it by watching, Rosa said. Mia joined them. Ready to go? She asked. Rosa smiled. Always. That weekend, the school organized a community event. Families gathered in the open field behind the building. There were tables, food, and games. Officers and teachers stood together, talking as equals. Mia helped younger children with a simple game. She laughed freely now. Confidence came easily when fear was gone. A small girl tugged her sleeve. Is it true your mom helps protect people? Mia nodded. Yes. The girl's eyes widened. That is cool. Mia smiled. She thinks so too. Rosa watched from a distance. She felt proud, not because of her own work, but because of who her daughter was becoming. Later that day, the principal made an announcement. This school stands for respect, he said. Not because we were told to, but because we learned why it matters. Applause followed. Officer Reed clapped too. He looked toward Mia and Rosa and nodded. That night, Mia sat at her desk at home. She opened her notebook and wrote one final line. Strength does not shout. It stands firm. She closed the notebook and turned off the light. Outside, the world continued as always. But inside that small house, something powerful had settled. Respect, truth, and quiet courage.